Davis at the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Honors Weekend. Terry is being recognized as the Outstanding American, an award which recognizes people that were involved in wrestling who've gone on to great things in other parts of life and society. And I guess I'd like to start out, Terry, just talking about your wrestling background. How'd you get into wrestling, and what was it about the sport that impacted you when you were wrestling, but also since you stopped being an athlete?
Well, I've been writing about this recently, and wrestling for me, I was a pudgy teenager, and I wasn't able to be many of the things I wanted to be, but wrestling put me on a road to conquering that. You know, you go to practice, you work hard at practice. That night, when you get home, you train on your own. You do your miles. And if you do those things, you feel better about yourself. You can say, well, look at all the stuff I'm doing. By gosh, I deserve to win. And for me, it was the boost to my self-esteem was what meant so much.
Are there people, coaches, mentors, people that helped you when you were young in wrestling that you'd like to recognize or shout out? I mean, we've all had those people as we've gotten involved in sport. Are there some people that come to mind now that you're, here and being part of the wrestling community at this level?
I want to mention Lyle Pugh. I went to a huge high school in Spokane, Washington, called Shadle Park. And when Lyle first came to Shadle, he coached gymnastics. And it was the girls' gymnastics room where some of us started wrestling just for fun. And actually, we got to the point where we took over the girls' gymnastics room.
Sounds all right.
so we could have a place to wrestle.
Yeah, no,
And so, let me tell you just this little thing about Lyle. I think I had just reached my 70s, and was back in Spokane, and I ran into some friends, and I asked him how Lyle was, and they said, well, he's not doing too good. You better go see him while you can. And so I went up to his house, and he, we weren't close particularly, but, you're all close if you're on that team. And,
Yep.
and if you're every single day you're working out, and every night, and it means so much, and it means so much to everybody in that room. And so I was telling Lyle who I was, and I was running some memories by him, and he was touched, and he began to cry, and I gave him a big hug and told him that of all the things I've become, I can lay those things at the feet of wrestling.
That's wonderful. I mean, having been a lifelong wrestling person, we get those moments when we get around our family, which is wrestling, right? It's a big family.
You bet.
So I talk a little bit about coaching. I know you've coached wrestling too. You competed in it, and then you coached at wrestling for a while. How did that deepen your connection to the sport, being a coach?
Well, let me tell you the circumstances under which I was a wrestling coach. I was teaching at the American School of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and some of the guys in the school had wrestled when they were back in the States, and they wanted to wrestle again, and they asked me if I'd work with them, and I said, of course, and it was, it was fun to work on takedowns, and it was just fun to get in there and grapple. And so as far as my coaching went, it was just holds and counters, and but we not only had fun, we did something good. We were set up to wrestle the American school in Sao Paulo, and we never made it over there. They couldn't field a team. They couldn't get a team going. So we had our little Escola Americana team, and we never got beat. We also never got many matches.
Yeah, I mean, your schedule's what you can create, right?
Yep.
How about writing? I mean, how'd you get into that as becoming a career passion? I mean, obviously, it's a difficult field, right? I mean, especially writing novels and things, but what is it about writing that drove you to have such an impact in that area?
Well, some of it is the commitment to a goal-centered life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've written a lot about this, and okay, I've gone to practice, had a good practice, worked out hard, got home, had just a little bite to eat, put on my weights, put on my
Oh, you sweat, so everything.
oh yes, and then and then you go out and you run your miles, and you run in your weighted boots, and that's it's the same thing for writing.
Mm-hmm.
You sit there and you've got goals. You've got a chapter,
Right.
or you've got a page or a couple good pages, and you've got a place to start the next day. So you've got that written and you're ready to go. You know, you're ready to go. You're do your takedowns and do your shadow wrestling, and well, it's a competition against.
Yeah.
The thing I love about it is the competition.
Well, you're challenging yourself too,
Yes.
right? To be your best.
Oh yes.
And so wrestling's the same way, right? You have opponents, but you've got to be your best in your training, and
Yep.
and when it's game time, you've got to do it, right? So the writing process is really interesting to me. Personally, I love writing. I've been doing it my whole life, so it's always fun to hear how people.
Are you
themselves
working
involved.
on a piece now?
Not right now. What inspired you for the Vision Quest book? I mean, obviously, I was a kid or in college when the movie came out, and that's how I found out about it. But where did the Vision Quest come in your mind, and how is it turning that into a story?
Well, I'm kind of in love with the romance of the American Indian, and there's a lot in that life and in those people that touches my heart, and the idea of, well, I'm gonna go through this experience. I'm gonna go through this endeavor, and I'm gonna allow myself to see where it can take me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, and that's the foundational
the vision
thread
quest.
through the book and
Yeah.
the movie, obviously,
Yeah.
too. That's a lot of people found out about your book after it was a movie, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Even nowadays, there are not many people who know the book, but everybody knows the movie.
Yeah, well, you have any involvement with the movie outside of, I mean, you wrote the novel it was based on, and I know you had
No,
some-
I didn't. They didn't want to have me on the set or anything, because they don't like writers around, because writers will always move them off the path that they've got to make their movie, and writers hanging around can spoil. They wrote this thing, and then you took it, and then they go back and chip away at it a little bit. They just chip away at it so it becomes theirs. It's theirs now and yours never again. Although, you see that movie, and I feel the things that are mine.
Good. I mean, because by having a good enough book to become a movie, you were able to take that inspiration and spread it in a different way, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was one of the young people that were able to see the movie when it came out. Also, really enjoyed the striking images of Spokane.
Oh, yes.
Talk a little bit about that city. I've been there a few times since then, and I think part of the things they did well was show that community to the rest of the world.
And I'm working on a sequel, and my plan for the sequel is to do more with Spokane. So much can be done with Spokane. It's part of it's old, and there's that sense of the 50s and the 60s, and I'd like to do more with that. The title of the sequel is Son of Swain, Son of Loudon Swain.
That's awesome.
So, well, there's going to be a sequel, and we're going to make it happen, and everybody's going to love it, especially me.
Yeah, well, you want to do it, right? I mean,
Yep.
you can't write a good novel if you're not into it. I'm sure that takes a lot of time.
You bet. Oh my gosh, you bet it does.
Well, tell me about the Iowa Writers Workshop, part of your journey, and it's well respected, but we've had a couple great wrestling people go through that, yourself and John Irving. What was it like to be in a group of people that had the same vision to be excellent at creating, I guess, written art, right?
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Well, the competition was tough in the workshop, and each week we'd have stories. Each week we'd submit to the group stories that we wanted to put together for a collection of stories or for a novel, and people would criticize each other's work, and that got vicious sometimes. And I, as an undergraduate, I had done real well at my little college over here, Eastern Washington State. And then I get out there to the famous Iowa Writers Workshop, and I'm not the star.
Yeah.
And so I had to work real hard. Well, what I had to do was I wasn't writing things that were moving me and making me happy and making me proud. So here's something that happened. It was getting down to my last few weeks in school, and I said to myself, if you want to do this, and if you want to really be a writer, now's the time, and now's the place. So what I did was I was a teaching assistant, and I went to my office, and I said to myself, well, what do you know? What do you know enough to write about it? Well, you're an athlete. You know athletics. And by gosh, I wrote the first line to Vision Quest. And before I made it home after school that evening, I wrote the concluding line. So I wrote the first line and the last line on the same day, and it worked out.
That's wonderful. That's great. How well do you know John Irving? Obviously,
Oh, not well, no.
He's got the same, he's an outstanding American at the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, clearly you guys went in different directions, but you do have the same profession and the same craft.
Yes, yes.
I mean, is it fun to be in the same breath within the wrestling community as John?
Well, sure. Irving and I were never friends. We didn't get together in the workshop. I did take one of his classes, but we never got close.
But clearly, that skill set, both of you were able to succeed with the same roots, wrestling and then the Iowa workshop. It's kind of neat. It's a good story for people that love wrestling.
Yes, it is.
We talk about our politicians and our people that are famous that wrestled, and in that area, it's you guys, right?
Well,
right?
Yeah.
one of the things that I say in Son of Swain is, wrestling is, it teaches you the lesson that if you keep stroking, the far shore is going to appear. And you can make that happen by your diligence and by your commitment. And you never, ever, ever miss practice. You never miss conditioning. You never miss going for that goal that you've set up, and you can't let it alone. You've got to get that done.
That's inspiring to me myself, so I love what you do. Let me ask you this. Talk about creative writing teaching and how that's different than being a writer. Because you've got to challenge others to learn how to better what they're trying to do.
Well, I've done it, and I think almost everybody's done it this way. You take a look at good work that we can all realize is fine. It's a fine thing, and this is the level that we want to achieve at. This is the writing level. This is the plotting level, and but I just love teaching creative writing. What you do is you get a novel, or you get stories, and you read through it, and you just tunnel into it, and you say to yourself, gosh, is that the right word here? Mm-hmm. And everybody chimes in. Yeah, it's the right word. Yeah, or no, it's not. But I loved teaching creative writing. I just loved it. And here's a tiny little thing. I had this big old house at the bottom of the hill where Minnesota State University was built. Mm-hmm. And I would come, I taught evenings, I taught night classes. And I would be walking home, just after dark, walking through the woods on the path to my old house. And I said to myself one day, good Lord, this is so cool. And I'm getting paid for it. I ought to pay these people. This is so cool. And I really felt like that. I sure wasn't going to give any money away. But
yeah, no, that sounds like success to me.
I
right?
just loved it. So fortunate to have found in my life something that I could love as much and have be of value.
So what were your thoughts when you heard from the Hall of Fame that you were going to get honored as Outstanding American? And what's the experience been like just the first little bit that you've been out here at the Hall of Fame and here in Stillwater?
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting people.
Yeah. And
it's exciting. I'm excited to meet the people, and I'm excited to meet some wrestlers. It's been over 50 years since I wrestled.
Yeah.
Well, it's over 60 years, and I would like to get a little of that feeling, you know. I was hoping we could maybe go to the room at Oklahoma State.
Well, Coach Taylor's going to be around.
Oh,
right?
he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, right.
This will be his first year.
Yeah, he just finished up. But this is a hotbed of wrestling. They've won even more national titles in the University of Iowa at Oklahoma State. So
wow.
I actually worked in the Hall of Fame building my first few months at USA Wrestling. So certainly you'll have the opportunity to be around wrestlers for a while.
Well, I'll enjoy it. That's the biggest thing I looked for being here. I thought, well, geez, there are going to be all these guys you can talk about to get information for Son of Swain, you know. And one of the things I wish I had a chance to ask these guys is, okay, we made Vision Quest, and it was pretty darn good. And okay, but what will you guys do in the next Vision Quest? What did I screw up in the book, or what?
Well, and what's changed since the
right.
70s and 60s, right? I mean,
so much has changed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been at USA Wrestling 37 years, and it's changed a lot, I'll tell you.
Gosh.
So, Hey, congratulations. It's an honor to meet you, and I look
It's an
forward
honor
to
to meet
spending
you.
some time with you here. It's going to be a good week.
I do look forward to it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.